smelling right, luscious lips, dancing as you walk away.
Hey, what's going on? It's the Big D. I'm really excited. Looks like we got the channel kind of up and running now. We've got some videos out there now. I got a couple videos I put up yesterday telling my personal divorce story. Hopefully you guys get to see that and can kind of understand where we're headed as far as what the channel is doing and what the aim is. And I just figured I'd lead the way and start to put it out there for you. So I'm really excited about that. Today is Christmas Eve. My boy Gabe came in yesterday to Rio here, and he normally comes about every 6 months or so, and so it's always good to have him come down and hang out. We kind of do the Christmas celebration with him. Christmas in Brazil is actually celebrated at 12 o'clock, so Christmas Eve at 12 o'clock in the morning is kind of when that's Christmas for them. So we don't normally have a nice meal and all that stuff. His fiance cooks a nice meal for us, so we look forward to that and just kind of being able to kick it, chop it up. So it'll be kind of cool to see him as well. So everybody out there who's watching now around this season, Merry Christmas to you, and I hope that your season is great. And I figured I'd do a segment here just to kind of get the channel going, get some content going here. And we're going to call it the divorce news, right? So when I'm online, and over the last probably few weeks I've been online, and I've been seeing a lot of headlines or, the Reddit feeds and other feeds regarding divorce and people that are in that situation. So, maybe we'll talk about some of those things. It'll spark some ideas for us and give us some some content to kind of talk about. We want to open up the conversation. And so right now we're just breaking the ice. We're making sure that we get started and we're in a good place. So what do we got today? Let's take a look at the news and see what we got today. Okay, so we're going to look at some of these little headlines that I've got on my handy dandy cell phone here. And even though I'm smiling, I'm jovial, I'm happy, it's just the mood of the day. Not making fun of anybody's situation, of course. All these situations are very, very serious. And so the first one is in the divorce _men Reddit says, out with a bang. My wife of 13 years is divorcing me. I'm disabled and have never been able to work. And as a consequence, I will soon be homeless. So that's like the first line, the opening line. And so that's a very serious thing. Imagine not ever being able to work because of your physical disability. Could be a mental disability as well, that type of thing, or some type of disability or deficiency that you have. And now the person that said they would love you and cherish you until the end of time and until death do us part is like, well, I'm leaving you. Could be a lot of dynamics going on there. This is not something that's uncommon. People that need a lot of care and a lot of help tend to get left after a while. I remember we had a friend of ours, I had an interest in her at one point in time after I got divorced. She was a bit young, but she had terminal cancer, and she was stage 4. And so I was doing some research around that time, and I found out that, a lot of partners leave when they find out the other has cancer or has a terminal illness. It's very common for people to leave. So you got to think about that. In the hardest time of your life, you've got, you trusted in this person, you've kind of entrusted your health to this person and thinking that they're going to back you up and they're going to help you out through your hard time, and they can't be bothered. They've got to leave. And they want to go pursue something else and go on to someone who's healthy and doesn't have these problems because they don't want to deal with it. So if you're not yet married, or maybe you're newly married or whatever, you may not even really have considered that, because maybe you're just healthy, you're going to work every day, you're doing your thing, but anything can happen. You can have a car accident, you can have a work accident, something can happen to you, disable you for a length of time. And then what happens with your marriage? You have to really kind of consider that. And I don't think anybody really talks about that with you prior to. It's like they have like maybe these pre-marriage counseling, things and all that. And they probably don't even go into all of that. Everybody just kind of hopes it doesn't happen, and then you kind of fall into the situation, and it could be really disastrous for you. Just like this poor guy here, just worried about being homeless because he's never been able to take care of himself, and so she's leaving. It's kind of not a good thing. And 13 years with a person, you think you kind of know a person, you think that you've kind of gotten acclimated, and the time doesn't even matter. So we're gonna move on to the next one. This one here says, first Christmas without my kid. I'm gonna wake up Christmas morning without my daughter for the first time in her life. I'm emotionally tortured. How did some of you get through it? So that's a hard thing too. You gotta think about how many people today, how many guys today are gonna be without their kids, on one of the biggest holidays of the year. They're just gonna wake up and not have their family today, maybe for the first time. That's a hard thing to go through. I can't imagine what the rates of depression are, what the suicide rates might be behind something like that. It's kind of terrifying when you think about it. It's just how emotionally attached we as men get to our children. Most of us who are fathers and father-oriented and are used to raising our kids and being around them, waking up in the morning, seeing them, that's our joy, our pride and our joy. To wake up without that on Christmas morning is got to be really, really tough. Being used to the family celebration or whatever, having breakfast with them, and maybe having them open their presents and seeing them be happy and them smiling and everything, and just being extremely, happy and not having to worry about work or whatever. Maybe we're off a couple of days of work, so we're getting that stress off of us or whatever. We just have time to be with our family, and now that's been kind of ripped away from us, maybe through a fault of our own, maybe not through a fault of our own, but now you're kind of in this situation where you realize what you've lost. And so we might think about divorce in a way where it just affects us in a certain way, or like, how do I feel about it? But think about the kids and what happens with them. So I really feel kind of bad for this guy and what he's going through. And I think he's just asking, how do you get through it? And that's one reason kind of why we're doing this channel, because I want to talk to you. I want to talk to guys who have been in that situation and have felt like felt that pressure of, what do I do now? Or felt that pain of what happens now that I don't have my kids on the holidays. And maybe over time, does it get easier, or does it just, stay the same, or is it always difficult? How do you navigate that? What did your kids think about it? How do your kids feel about it? I want to know those types of things. And that's kind of thing that we can probably discuss here on the show, So let's see, what else do we have here today? Now, here's an interesting story. Here, this girl, 27-year-old female, says she has a perfect life, but she's about to file for divorce. Is this a terrible idea? All right, I'm just going to read what she wrote here. So, I, 27-year-old female, am about to divorce my husband. He's a 32-year-old male after 2 years of marriage, 3 years of dating. I will likely lose most of my community and even move cities. I work remote and have no reason to stay where I am. This is a huge life change and would involve starting from complete scratch. None of my friends are divorced, so they can relate. My life is textbook perfect. Interesting. But my marriage is hell. So if I get rid of one, I get rid of both. The marriage is loveless, and he has shown to be extremely emotionally abusive. I'm not going to really comment a lot on that, but, that's just kind of a term that's become very popular now. Just, oh, you're emotionally abusive. So we can't really read into that and know what exactly that even entails at this point. I have no hesitancy leaving him in all capital letters for whatever reason, I don't know. I'm terrified of moving to a new place, trying to make new friends, and meeting someone new in my late 20s. I just need someone to tell me I'm not making a huge mistake by leaving a stable, fun, and community-oriented lifestyle. I've cried 4 days straight because I'm just so lost. So when I read about that, I was like, wow, like, you're admitting that you have the perfect life. Everything is great, but there's just something about your husband who's providing this lifestyle or who's helping you achieve this lifestyle and who this lifestyle is attached to. You're wanting to leave him. Because it almost seems like you want the lifestyle, but you don't want any of whatever comes with this guy attached to it. Could be accountability. Maybe he holds her accountable. Maybe she doesn't like when he corrects her. Maybe she doesn't like when he tries to lead. We don't know. But it sounds like he's made an effort to make sure that everything around her works and is comfortable for her. She says it right there. It's stable, right? So she's not unstable. It's fun and it's community oriented. So she's got friends. She's got people around her that are good for her. She's got things to do in her community that are great for her. It's fun for her. She's not feeling like, oh, I'm super stressed or I'm depressed and my life sucks. She's not saying that. She's like, my life is great. I just got this guy that I want to get rid of. So this is the kind of thing that you'll go through. And then, I find it interesting that she says, I just need someone to tell me that I'm not making a huge mistake. So she's looking for somebody to co-sign what her decision is, what it already is, because she's already made the decision that she's leaving. That mentally happened already. That's why she's expressing it here. So she kind of doubts whether she should be leaving the situation or not. And should she stay? Now, I'm not going to advocate for you if you're not happy and, it's just not going to work or whatever, and it's not the right person for you, whatever. I'm not the person that says divorce is terrible. I kind of, in my situation, I look at it and I'm like happy that my divorce actually occurred because I'm like, my life changed a lot from that. Now, I don't like the part that separated me from separated my kids from their mom and me and her being together and from them having that family nucleus. However, I don't regret that I had my freedom to kind of get out here again and date a little bit, travel, live in another country. I've done so much since then that maybe I wouldn't have done. So I'm not a person that says don't get divorced, but hey, it is what it is. If your life is happy and if it's great and everything's moving, then you might want to consider some counseling to figure out what it is that you're finding wrong with this person. You might find out that it's yourself. It's something within you that you're attributing to someone else, right? So, good luck to him, because it don't seem like she's kind of in a place where mentally she's able to make the right decision. She's kind of in a fog. She's just going to make a decision that's going to impact him, probably financially, probably hurt a lot of people in the community and people around them that kind of enjoyed them together. And but she's just going to go through it, I'm pretty sure. All right, what else do we got here today? So I ran across this one too. It's about this ex-NFL player. His name is Earl Thomas. His wife is estranged from him. She just was arrested for allegedly stealing millions from him, including funds for breast implants. So what can we say about this? Shout out to the brother for getting into the NBA. That's a really, really hard feat to do. It's not an easy thing to hold that profession. We know that profession does not last very long either. So I'm not sure exactly how long that he was in the league. It doesn't really say here. Not really familiar. But we know that that's a hard profession to get into. You're an elite athlete when you get at that level. And so you get paid, not as much maybe as basketball players or whatever, but you get paid at an elite level. It's a nice salary. If you're pretty good, you're going to make some money, right? You may have some endorsements. You may have some other stuff going on, even not on a national level, but on a local level, right? So he's made some money, right? So let's get into this article a little bit. Let's talk about it a little bit. It says, former NFL player Earl Thomas' estranged wife, Nina Thomas, has been arrested on charges of allegedly stealing millions from him. The Seahawks defensive back claims that Nina defrauded him of nearly $3 million in money and property, according to TMZ. So it's TMZ, so we don't know, right? They do pretty good, though. They be pretty accurate. Court documents reveal that Nina began draining his accounts shortly after filing for divorce in 2020. With the help of a co-conspirator, boyfriend, she allegedly transferred assets into her own name. In a shocking move, she reportedly spent about $2.7 million, partly on breast implants and a Hermes Birkin handbag. So we can already see what her mindset is, right? Her mindset is caught into financial, how she looks and presents to the community and to her girlfriends, and living a lifestyle, the boss lifestyle, right? So, she's a city girl, obviously, but she's living this boss lifestyle. And so she wants people outwardly to believe that she has this lifestyle, when in actuality, she got it from him, right? Nina was arrested earlier this week and is facing charges of conspiracy to commit wire fraud, money laundering, and aggravated identity theft. This is just the latest twist in an already tumultuous relationship. Back in November 2020, Nina filed for divorce after she allegedly held Earl at gunpoint when she found him in bed with 2 women and his brother. So this is a wild one, So it's like, I could get it a little bit, why she might be mad and why she might feel like, okay, I might just go ahead and get some of this dude's cash and put it in my name and go just screw it off into the world and just spend all his money or whatever. I mean, you can't be cheating on her and have, a woman in the bed and then be in the bed with your brother too at the same time. Like, what is you doing, son? You know what I mean? Like, hey, son, you wildin', bro. You wildin'. So your brother should have told you, like, yo, you wildin', but he thinking with the little head, not the big head. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you gotta restrain the big D. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Wow. Then in 2021, she was granted a restraining order after Earl allegedly attacked her while intoxicated. Now, to read the rest, you can go on to balleralert.com. Thankfully, they had published the article or whatever is done on Baller Alert, so check them out. Subscribe to their Instagram and all that. But sometimes we bring this stuff on ourselves. Sometimes we do things in a relationship that we probably shouldn't do, and we kind of bring it on ourselves. So we got to be real careful with that. How you conduct yourself and the things that you do, and whether or not you can live with the consequences of that. And now he's had to get the police involved. She's been arrested. We'll see if the charges stick or what they do to her, but she spent up a bunch of his money. They say she stole about $3 million, and she already spent like $2.7 million. It ain't even been 4 years. To me, I'm like, what did you buy in 4 years with that many millions? Like, you don't put something to the side, or you ain't holding on to something to try to do something good with it or whatever, get your education so that you can actually make some money. I'd be wondering sometimes what people do with this kind of money. It's just the mindset, the commercialized mindset, and having to live a lifestyle and feeling like you got to have name brands, and you got to have all of, not just name brands, but luxury name brands. You feel like you're entitled to this lifestyle. And so a lot of women feel like that's what they're entitled to. The Instagram lifestyle and the post and all that kind of stuff is kind of putting it out there. You got these YouTubers and people who are really chasing some clout, chasing some dollars from the monetization. They saying whatever and encouraging these women to go out here and treat their husband bad and steal his money and trick it off on breast implants and shit. So, we're going to end this right here today. I just wanted to go over some of the headlines or whatever, just to kind of keep you guys stimulated, keep your mind going. If you want to talk about some things or whatever, we're going to probably get into doing some lives and stuff like that at some point in time. Bringing people on, interviewing, talking about lives, talking about divorce, the divorce stories. I want to hear your stories. Hit me up. Let me know what's going on. Once again, it's your boy, the Big D. Peace.
Skin popping, smelling right, luscious lips, dancing as you walk.